KCBS News Time 1:58. First for traffic, here's George.
We are still looking at slow going for the ride on Highway 880 in the northbound direction through Hayward, and this is further exacerbated by an accident northbound at A Street, which is backed up the ride to south of Highway 92. Boy, it's sure starting to look like a Friday afternoon out there. Heavy traffic in Fremont on 680 northbound, heading toward the Sunol grade between the two Mission Boulevards. An accident eastbound, make that slow going on Interstate 580 eastbound into and through the Altamont Pass with slow traffic around Vasco Road. And the ride in the North Bay jammed up through Petaluma, Northgo Road. And the ride in the North Bay jammed up through Petaluma, northbound through the construction zone. Fairfield traffic, an accident eastbound 80 just before West Texas has traffic backed up Cordelia. Then it slows through Fairfield on your ride toward North Texas. Kim Vestal with your next update, 208, the traffic leader, KCBS.
We're sunny and seasonal as we head into the weekend with our top temperatures this afternoon in the upper 80s. Tomorrow and Sunday look like they could actually be a little bit warmer with more locales right around 90. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. It's Friday, July 17th, 2020, and coming up on KCBS.
I'm Doug Sovereign. The governor decrees remote education only this fall for the majority of California school kids.
I'm Kathy Novak. San Francisco joins the state's coronavirus watch list.
We don't have months. We barely have weeks.
And Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg announces she's being treated for a recurrence of cancer. Patty Rising and Jeff Bell are coming in next, and CBS News covers the world.
You need to know. KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1. San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, a radio.com station.
2 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Matt Piper in New York. Young people call her RBG. To others, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is known as the feisty member of the Supreme Court who's also the oldest. She announced today that she is battling a 5th bout with cancer. This one on her liver, but she says since getting the diagnosis in February, she's on the road to recovery. CBS News legal analyst Jonathan Turley.
Justice Ginsburg has stated that she believes that the treatment is going well, and more importantly, it has not impacted her ability to function on the court. The court just issued its final decisions, and so Justice Ginsburg has a period in which she can recover.
The 87-year-old says she's not going anywhere and will remain on the high court. Southern California campuses won't reopen for the first day of school because Governor Gavin Newsom handed down new guidelines ordering schools to stay closed in counties on the state's COVID-19 watch list. 32 counties are on that list, including Los Angeles and San Bernardino. For those that do reopen,
all staff and students in 3rd grade and above must wear masks. Students in the 2nd grade or below, we strongly encourage wearing masks.
The World Health Organization has just reported the largest single-day increase in worldwide cases, rising by nearly 240,000 in 24 hours. CBS's Danya Backus on how things are looking here in the U.S.
Coronavirus infections, hospitalizations, and deaths are mounting. More than 77,000 new cases were reported Thursday, with Florida, Texas, and South Carolina logging their highest daily death toll of the pandemic.
Things are so dire that people are being resuscitated on stretchers in the hallways. The night before last, I had 4 calls of 4 patients dying.
More than half of all states now have laws requiring people to wear masks, but Georgia is not one of them.
With federal benefits set to expire July 31st, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says a 5th coronavirus relief aid package could be on the horizon. Negotiations are set for next week. CBS News military consultant Jeff McCausland on the Pentagon's effective new ban on Confederate flags at military bases.
Defense Secretary Mark T. Esper said in a memo today that the flags we fly must be in accord with the military imperatives of good order and discipline, treating all of our people with dignity and respect, and rejecting divisive symbol.
To Terre Haute, Indiana, where a 3rd execution by the federal government this week has just taken place. Prosecutors say Dustin Hunkin killed 5 people to keep them from testifying in his drugs case. The Dow lost 62 points, NASDAQ gained 29. This is CBS News.
You can listen to CBS News Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on radio.com or the radio.com app. Download it today.
It's 2:03 at the Bay Area's news station KCBS. A pretty typical summertime day around the Bay Area. A little bit of a warm-up for the weekend. Good afternoon. I'm Patty Rising along with Jeff Bell. Here's what's happening.
Patty, Governor Newsom has announced that schools may not reopen for in-person classes this fall if they are in counties that remain on the state's coronavirus watch list. KCBS political reporter Doug Sovern joins us live now and says that means most California students will begin the new academic year by learning from home.
Well, Jeff and Patty, Governor Newsom stopped short of ordering remote learning only statewide to start the new school year, but he is telling public, private, and charter schools in the at least 32 counties on the state coronavirus watch list, that list tends to ebb and flow, they must open the year with distance learning and not bring students, teachers, or staff back to campus for now.
Schools can physically open for in-person education when the county that they're operating in has been off our monitoring list for 14 consecutive days.
Schools in the other counties may reopen in person with strict safety measures in place. Everybody at school must wear a mask, except for kindergartners through second graders, for whom masks are strongly encouraged, but they're not mandatory. School districts can apply for an exemption to let in-person classes resume sooner, but the governor reiterated we already know how to stop this pandemic and get all of our kids back on campus.
The one thing we have the power to do to get our kids back into school is look at this list again. Wear a mask, physically distance, wash your hands.
Preschools, daycare, and day camps can remain open, but recreational team sports remain prohibited. The reality is most school districts already planned to reopen with distance learning only, but this order does ensure that for most California families, the new school year will pick up right where the last one left off, learning from home. Reporting live, Doug Sovern, KCBS.
Doug, when kids do to go back to the classroom, what type of assistance are the local school districts going to get from the state for things like PPE and more desks and perhaps more teachers?
Well, the governor said there's money in the budget, and he reiterated that there will be more support. They've got a whole long list of guidelines and things they have to do, distance with the desks and separate cohorts of kids and hand washing and, as you heard, masks. And he said that there will be significant support, and there's money in the budget for some of that. He's also counting on more money from the federal government, though, to help with that. And we know that in the Senate, the Republicans have said they won't send any more money to states to help schools with this unless the schools reopen in person. So there's a bit of an impasse there. We'll see how that works out. He's counting on Nancy Pelosi to get the federal funds that California is going to need to help school districts make that happen. I will say, they talk a good game. They talk about the support, but there's a lot of frustrated parents and teachers out there who felt the support has not been there. And while the state school board president today said we've spent the summer working with teachers, there's been more training, there's more support, we'll have to see in the fall if that's really true.
Doug, did I hear correctly that these rules will apply to both public and private schools?
Yes, they do, and it's in the guidelines, and it was asked during the news conference for the governor to clarify that, and he said yes, public schools, private schools, charters are considered public because they are public schools, even though they're charters. So public, private, and charter schools all will be controlled by this. Now, I know people whose kids go to private schools, some small schools where they were set up to do this in person. They thought they had the space and small enough classes to do it, but now they will not be allowed to. They can, of course, petition for one of these exemptions. I would imagine some will try to get that and some may well get it. But for now, everyone in those watch list counties, which is all of the Bay Area now except San Mateo County, has to open remotely.
I'm going to sneak one more question in, and that is about the quality of distance learning. And I know you know this firsthand as a parent, and that is what is going to be done to improve the quality of distance learning, which in a lot of school districts wasn't that great. They had to make it up on the fly last spring, this fall.
Yeah, and that remains an open question. Once again, they said today, well, there's been a lot more training. I know some teachers who would take issue with that. There's been a lot more support. Linda Darling-Hammond, the school board president, did make one good point, which is when the schools shut down back in March, we all thought it was going to be for a couple of weeks, or maybe it was going to be a month. But nobody thought it would extend to the end of the school year initially, as it did, and now into the next school year. So they sort of did it on the fly, and nobody was, they handed out workbooks. They didn't prepare in a way that she claims they are preparing now, where they really are going to have a system in place knowing this could be for the long haul. Again, we will see when the school year begins if that support is really there, if the systems are better. But the school districts have been saying that they're preparing to have a much more robust kind of distance learning this fall.
All right, Doug, thanks for the update. That, again, is KCBS political reporter Doug Sovern. We'll have much more on this developing story throughout the afternoon. And Doug joins us for the State of California program at 3:30. On now to the hour's first check of KCBS traffic, along with weather. We bid happy Friday afternoon to Kim Vestal. Kim.
And happy Friday to you. The hour begins with an accident. Hayward, northbound 880, just after Winton, spotted by the Chilton Auto Body collision cam. It is on the right-hand shoulder, and we can see that traffic is slow and stretches from Whipple Road. Southbound is getting through just fine. And nearby in Fremont, I can see a ride on northbound 680 starting to slow down, approaching the Sunol grade. Really does look like a typical Friday afternoon with brake lights beginning just before South Mission Boulevard. And if the Friday getaway is taking you to eastbound Interstate 80, there is some ongoing slowing through Fairfield. We have a crash. In fact, this one involved 4 to 5 cars wrapping up eastbound Interstate 80 east of Abernathy. And the KCBS phone force says that all the cars now on the right-hand shoulder, the backup begins just after the Cordelia Junction. That's where 680 merges onto eastbound Interstate 80. Quick check of the South Bay, and we're in really good shape on freeways there. No delays on Highway 17. A lot of traffic, though. I passed by a lot of cars coming down the Santa Cruz Mountains there, but no accidents. And it's starting to jam up a bit. Southbound 101 headed into Morgan Hill. Another typical looking situation for Friday afternoon. Next update at 2:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Mostly sunny summer day around the Bay Area with seasonal temperatures reaching into the mid-80s inland, maybe a few upper 80s very well inland. Warm up for everybody. We will see upper 80s, low 90s for the weekend, upper 60s to mid-70s by the Bay. Traffic and weather together, sponsored by LifeLock.
If you're only monitoring your credit to help protect your identity, you could miss certain threats like your info for sale on the dark web. Good thing there's LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Get LifeLock now and save more during their special summer sale. Go to LifeLock.com, use promo code RISK. Sale ends July 20th.
Healthy Family Activities, presented by Stanford Children's Health.
Help reduce your kids' unhappiness or loneliness while they're at home by making a happiness box. Work with them to decorate an old shoebox with bright colors, smiley faces, and other happy things. Then fill the box with things that make your child happy. A favorite book, maybe a photo or a joke that makes them smile.
For your child's healthcare needs, contact a Stanford pediatrician at any of our 25 pediatric offices across the Bay Area. Stanford Children's Health.
Our government has determined that for the new stay-at-home plan to succeed, certain household appliances are essential. Kitchen and laundry for sure, but communication and entertainment appliances are also deemed essential. If the limited selection at the big box stores isn't enough for you, then let Video Only try to help. There's deep discounts on the 2019 smart TVs or trade-in allowances on the new 2020 models. Better than the club or online. Check out Video Only before you buy, or you'll be sorry.
What's driving the conversation in California today?
How in the world do you think California went so wrong?
I think we got a little bit complacent. KCBS political reporter Doug Sovern explores the issues making news in our state every weekday afternoon at 3:30 p.m.
Just a month or two ago, California was being hailed as a miracle, a model for the nation of how to keep the virus in check.
It's hard to be locked down that long. KCBS's The State of California, sponsored by Meristem, dedicated to preparing young adults on the autism spectrum for a life of independence.
Due to the economic downturn, RW Garage Doors, the Bay Area's trusted garage door company, is slashing prices on their handcrafted modern wood, modern glass, and modern steel garage doors for as low as $24.99 installed. Plus, RW is including a LiftMaster battery backup motor with every purchase. Increase home value and maximize curb appeal today with no interest financing on approved credit. Call 877-DOOR-808. That's 877-DOOR-808 or visit moderngaragedoors.com.
KCBS News Time, 2:12.
San Francisco has paused all new reopenings of businesses and services indefinitely. As KCBS's Kathy Novak reports, the mayor has announced that San Francisco is joining the state's coronavirus watch list.
Because of rising hospitalizations, San Francisco must now abide by state restrictions, says Mayor London Breed.
We already followed almost all of these restrictions. The main change is that indoor malls and non-essential offices must now also close.
Not only are new reopenings on hold, San Francisco may go further than what the state requires. And with people waiting a week or more to get a test and about as long to receive their results, as of Monday, private health providers will be required to offer same-day testing to certain groups, including those who have symptoms. Public Health Director Grant Colfax.
This will help and will free up the capacity of San Francisco's public testing programs with the goal of allowing residents who are uninsured or are members of impacted communities to get tested in a more timely manner.
But he says the more the virus spreads, the harder it will be for testing to keep up. So everyone must avoid gatherings and wear face coverings when they are out. In San Francisco, Kathy Novak, KCBS.
A baseball player's free agent deal fell through because of a positive COVID-19 test. Kevin will have the details in 2 minutes.
Stuck inside with the family? Antsy to do something and go somewhere? Obviously, now is not the time to do it. But Mr. Pavers can provide the next best thing. Vacation in your own backyard. And if your backyard is not very desirable right now, Mr. Pavers can turn your backyard into your own personal paradise. Get outside. Enjoy the seasonal warmth and fresh air. Mr. Pavers specializes in backyard patios, pool decks, outdoor kitchens, and driveways. Quality pavers at affordable prices. Mr. Pavers is also Diamond certified and an ICPI installer. And if you book a job before the end of the month, you will receive 20% off and free demolition. Call Mr. Pavers at 833-MR-PAVERS. That's 833-MR-PAVERS. Or go to MrPavers.com. It's so easy to get out of that stuffy house when you are steps away from outdoor fun. Let Mr. Pavers bring your dream backyard to life. Call right now. 833-MR-PAVERS. That's 833-MR-PAVERS. Or go to MrPavers.com today.
It's the perfect time for a powerful business refresh during Dell Technologies Cyber Savings Event. It starts now with up to 50% off.
What do you want a da-da-da? What do you want a da-da-da? I have not a da what a da-da-da. We could switch to Progressive da. Oh yeah? We could switch to Progressive and sa. Okay. We could sa enough to buy some za. Oh yeah, let's switch to Progressive to da and get some za with the money we saw. Yeah! Now we know we're gonna da-da-da.
These days, nothing is normal and everything is weird. But you could still save big when you switch to Progressive. It might just be the most normal thing you da-da-da.
Quote to da at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Of your clothes and out of your head. With 10 times the cleaning power of Tide. It's gotta be Tide.
Coming up on KCBS, we're going to take a closer look at the ever-shrinking Democratic National Convention after members of Congress are told not to attend. KCBS News Time, 2:15.
That would be time for sports, and Kevin Radich checks in for a Friday afternoon. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Jeff. Yasiel Puig has revealed he has tested positive for COVID-19, so his deal with the Atlanta Braves fell through. He remains a free agent. The deal was contingent on Puig testing negative. He says he is asymptomatic. He remains in quarantine, hoping to be cleared down the road so he can return to baseball. The Atlantic 10 and the Colonial Athletic Association have announced they have suspended their fall sports seasons. We expect more and more college conferences to postpone fall sports as the testing numbers continue to rise. Indiana University has put its voluntary football workouts on hold after 6 participants tested positive for COVID-19 this week. Southeastern Conference schools will honor the scholarships of athletes who opt out and opt not to participate. fall competition because of concerns about COVID-19. And Ryan Palmer and Tony Finau.
Did you know Geico's now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies? That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Your teenager to help around the house?
Okay, Mom, I emptied the dishwasher, vacuumed the basement, and folded the sheets out of the dryer.
Wait, what?
Oh, and next, I'm going to clean Mitten's litter box.
Are we in some kind of prank show or something? That's a camera, isn't it?
There's never been a better time to switch to Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Limitations apply. Visit geico.com for details.
$568-2790 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-568-2790.
Traffic time. Let's check things out with Kim Vestal. I believe the news is better from Fairfield, Kim?
Oh, much better. An accident involving up to 5 cars has been completely cleared. It was eastbound to Interstate 80 after Abernathy. This update brought to you by Hint Water. So all lanes open. It was backed up almost to the Cordelia Junction at the 680 merge there. Traffic is moving well. It's clearing fast. And on Interstate 80 eastbound at Emeryville before Powell Street, fender bender there also out of the way. Slowing still, some minor slowing in both directions. Across the bay in Mill Valley, also better news. We had an overturned crash. It was at the Seminary Avenue off-ramp, tying things up there from southbound 101. That has just been cleared and traffic is back to normal. Hint is pure water infused with surprisingly true fruit flavors, including watermelon, blackberry, and cherry. No sugar, no sweeteners, no calories. Available in your local grocery store or at drinkhint.com. Hint, water with a touch of true fruit flavor. Next update, 2:28 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
We're going to see a bit of warming for the weekend. Sunny skies. Inland highs should top out in the upper 80s to the low 90s both tomorrow and Sunday. Upper 60s to mid 70s by the bay and mid 60s at the coast. We will see stronger onshore breezes, cooling things off for the start of next week, but it'll bring temperatures down to around normal for this time of year. 60s at the coast, mid to upper 80s inland. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time 2:20.
Democrats are only 1 month away from gathering at the much smaller than planned Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee. An internal email retrieved by the New York Times is telling members of Congress that they should not travel to the convention. All this comes as continued concerns over the coronavirus continue to create additional challenges for putting this thing together. Joining us with more on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline is Larry Gersten, KCBS political analyst and San Jose State political science professor emeritus. Larry, when this thing was starting to get planned, there was talk of 50,000 delegates and journalists and party officials and so forth. Last numbers I'm seeing are in the hundreds, maybe like 200 to 300 people.
Yeah, that's about right. They haven't formulated everything, but I wouldn't be surprised for, some luminaries, probably every single state chair or maybe vice chair if they're splitting it up that way. And a few locals, and you're probably right, 300, 400, something like that. Look, and it's not all because of COVID. The fact is, if you go back 50 years, these national conventions used to be just extravaganzas. They'd last 4 days. There'd be gavel-to-gavel coverage by the networks, and it would be just sort of like a 96-hour marathon with all kinds of news breaking and interesting things developing nobody expected. And over the years, we've seen it cut back to 3 days, and more recently, the last decade or so, the network spending just a couple of hours every night, and that's about it. So the conventions themselves don't get a lot of attention. That's because, in fact, the conventions more and more aren't doing things that are that critical.
So what does it do to the party? Party as in gathering when you go from 50,000 down to a couple of hundred?
You know what? I don't think it does much, Patty. I mean, the fact of the matter is the party organization's working no matter what. And they've got both parties. have really large party organizations, several hundred people working day in and day out. The people who really are the glue for holding things together, not the elected officials so much, the bureaucrats, if you want to call them that. What it does do is it diminishes the ability of the party to break out all of its folks, its new folks, its stalwarts, all these folks, get them before cameras, show the folks back home. It does do that. It eliminates that kind of stuff. But in terms of the party, does it lose any glamour from this? I don't really think so. Parties have been on a downward trend in terms of the public's impression for years, decades, really. But it really gets to the focal point, and that is the coronation of the nominee. We will not see as much in terms of the party platforms, how they develop, because sometimes you get some pretty good stories there, some real tangles about how far the party should go on this issue or that issue, what the breakdowns are between liberals and conservatives and whatnot. But in terms of the party's glow, if you will, I don't think it changes much one way or the other.
Larry, President Trump making it clear that he wants to see the Republican convention go on. Talk, if you would, about the potential contrast between thousands of people, potentially many of them not wearing masks, gathered for the GOP convention versus the image of just a few hundred people at the Democratic convention. How does that play?
A couple of things to note here, Jeff. First of all, yes, they're going from a full-scale convention as much as it is these days, those 3 or 4 days together, to probably 2, maybe 3. It will be scaled back. We know this as it goes to Jacksonville. Scaled back, maybe half the size. Meetings of many groups in small venues. The big show, if you will be the president's address, which the Republicans hope to make an outdoor activity. Will there be a contrast? Yes. There'll be a contrast in size. Yes. There'll be a contrast in a lot of things. But I think the other contrast there'll be the folks who are at these Democratic convention all wearing masks, the folks at the Republican convention hooting it up and not wearing masks, or at least many of them. And I think that for a public that is tired, fatigued, really, when it comes to what's going on with this virus and how it's ruined their lives, to see public leaders more and more, even Republicans seeing public leaders more and more, basically, flouting the whole idea, not caring about it, going on, diminishing it. I think that's going to have a negative effect on a lot of people, especially not only those who are uncommitted, but even some Republicans. Just isn't the way to demonstrate who we are at a critical time like this.
Thank you so much. Larry Gersten, KCBS political analyst and San Jose State political science professor emeritus. On we go to the Money Watch with Jason Brooks.
Tesla is finding itself on the receiving end of a bullish analyst note. Credit Suisse is doubling its price target on Tesla to $1,400, which is still about $100 less than the current level. Credit Suisse says they see multiple factors responsible for the recent sharp run-up in Tesla's stock, including heightened retail investor interest amid electric vehicle euphoria, with Tesla the most widely bought stock in the past month on the investing site Robinhood. But Tesla still has a lot to prove to Credit Suisse, which says that to justify the current stock price, Tesla by 2025 will need to sell 2.2 million vehicles, making it as large as the German luxury brands. And that puts the onus on Tesla to execute those lofty expectations. Tesla stock was flat today, and it was a pretty flat day overall for the market. The Dow lost 62 points. The Nasdaq, though, up 29 points, and the S&P finished 9 points higher. On the Money Watch, Jason Brooks, KCBS.
Get the outdoor living space you've always dreamed of during the System Pavers Steep Summer Savings Event. With no interest financing through 2022 for orders placed by July 31st, you can enjoy your redesigned outdoor space now and pay over time. Whether you need a new paver walkway, a custom hardscape or yard design, outdoor lighting, or anything in between, System Pavers can make your vision come to life. And because most projects are completed in less than a week, you'll be able to enjoy your new space almost as fast as you can say, "The neighbors will be so jealous." Schedule your free design consultation today and see how easy it is to bring new life to your outdoor spaces. Visit SystemPavers.com or call us at 800-PAVE-004. That's 800-PAVE-004. System Pavers, outdoor living designed around you. Project installation must commence within 60 days of purchase. Financing subject to third-party credit approval. Contractor's license 661575.
These are worrisome times, causing a lot of stress and concern, and being in debt to the IRS can certainly make matters worse. Thankfully, there's good news. Optima Tax Relief can help you resolve your tax debt over the phone and online. Don't go it alone. Optima's tax professionals can reduce the stress in your life by helping to resolve your IRS problems right from the comfort of your own home. Optima is America's most trusted tax resolution firm, having resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. And their award-winning team is ready to help you online and over the phone, even during these uncertain times. They'll stand between you and the IRS and fight to get you the best deal possible. All it takes is one call to start the process. Optima's tax associates are standing by. Take the first step towards putting your tax problems to rest. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-395-3455. 800-395-3455. 800-395-3455.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KCBS traffic time as we check back with Kim Vestal. And Kim, we start off in Alamo this time.
We've got an accident involving an overturn just coming in and backing up your ride on the 680. We'll take a closer look with the Chilton Auto Body collision cam. It's impacting traffic southbound 680, and the accident happened just south of Livorno Road. The left lane is blocked, so expect delays just coming in now. So we'll keep a close watch on that one for you. Also in Lafayette, we've got fire crews responding to reports of a grass fire very close to the freeway, Highway 24 in the westbound direction at the Pleasant Hill Road off-ramp. If you see the smoke, there is some activity on the right-hand shoulder. Fire department has arrived. Next update, 2:38 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Mostly sunny afternoon, pretty seasonal temperatures. We're seeing highs upper 70s to mid to upper 80s. Inland, mid 60s, low 70s by the bay, low 60s at the coast. We're going to warm in the inland valleys, upper 80s to low 90s for the weekend. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
The joyous colors of summer are on display at Shreve.
Each happy color captured in a natural gemstone.
The iridescent glimmer and shimmer of mother of pearl whispers softly, "Let's go sailing."
The calm waters of the Caribbean shine from natural turquoise.
Topaz comes in every color of an ocean sunset.
And amethyst glows like tropical flowers.
Iolite is the violet blue of a summer storm over the Sea of Galilee.
Shreve & Company.
At 150 Post and in the Stanford Shopping Center.
Come home to University District, a new community in Rohnert Park, where everything is right where you want it. It's a living experience that comes with more. From a neighborhood park to home designs offering dens, lofts, casitas, and extra bedrooms that are the perfect place to work from home. Plus, it's a beautiful wine country location, near shopping, dining, world-class entertainment, and all you can discover in the Bay Area. Visit liveuniversitydistrict.com.
News that matters to you around the Bay, around the world, around the clock. All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Coming up on KCBS, a new coating could kill the coronavirus on commonly touched surfaces. The line is around the block as a popular Greek restaurant in San Francisco reopens its doors. And Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg says she is being treated for a recurrence of cancer. The very latest from CBS News in seconds. Good afternoon. I'm Patty Rising along with Jeff Bell. KCBS News Time, 2:31.
CBS News Update. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg says she is receiving chemotherapy treatment for a recurrence of cancer. The 87-year-old says the cancer was discovered in her liver in February. CBS's Lisa Mateo.
In a statement, the court's oldest justice explains that her recent hospitalization to remove gallstones and treat an infection were not related to a recurrence of her cancer. She went on to say that the chemotherapy to treat lesions on her liver are showing positive results. The four-time cancer survivor will continue with bi-weekly treatment and says she is fully capable of keeping up with her court work.
Loyola Law School's Laurie Levinson says her departure from the court before the election could give President Trump an advantage.
If she were to leave now, then there's no doubt that the Republicans would jam through as quickly as possible another extremely conservative appointee. And then the court will firmly be 5-4 in favor of the conservatives for years to come.
CBS News Update, I'm Matt Piper.
KCBS News Time, 2:32.
Patty, a San Francisco sheriff's deputy has tested positive for COVID-19. Sheriff Paul Miyamoto announcing today that the deputy, who works as a bailiff in the Hall of Justice courts, tested positive yesterday and is asymptomatic. The deputy had followed department safety protocols at work, including wearing a face mask, practicing social distancing, and frequent hand washing, we're told. This is the 7th sheriff's employee who was tested positive for COVID-19.
It could be a game changer, a corona-killing coating for surfaces like doorknobs and shopping carts. We get the latest on this innovation from KCBS's Jim Taylor.
Necessity being the mother of invention, we need something like this stuff being concocted in the chemical labs at Virginia Tech.
We do an undercoat of polyurethane like you might have on a hardwood floor in your house. And then we have a second coating that has the active ingredient, which is cuprous oxide. So it's made from recycled copper.
Which kills the coronavirus in under an hour. William Ducker, chemical engineer at Virginia Tech.
You can just convert the copper in a simple process, adding oxygen. You get cuprous oxide, and we impregnate the surface of the object with the cuprous oxide, and that inactivates the virus.
It could be on the market, he says, as soon as an investor comes forward.
I think it would be great if companies who are interested in doing that should contact me at Virginia Tech. Investors that are interested in that, we're absolutely ready to go. I think it could be, a matter of weeks.
Again, that's Virginia Tech professor William Ducker, chemical engineering. Jim Taylor, KCBS.
PG&E is telling residents of 4 Bay Area counties that they may see low-flying aircraft today, including helicopters and drones. KCBS reporter Tim Ryan tells us it's part of a drill to prepare for public safety power shutoffs sometime this summer.
If you live or work in San Mateo, Alameda, Contra Costa, or Santa Clara counties, you might see low-flying drones or helicopters flying over PG&E lines.
So our goal, as we looked at ways to enhance the program and expand our efforts to reduce wildfire risk, is to make public safety power shutoff events smaller in size, shorter in length, and smaller in scope, or fewer circuits involved.
PG&E spokesman Denny Boyles explains when weather conditions get dangerous and the power must be turned off, every mile of power line must be inspected before it's re-energized. A drill like this helps crews prepare for the real thing.
Today we're patrolling both mountain communities, rural communities, and other areas that are have that potential for a public safety power shutoff.
And as low as 100 feet.
Correct.
As if on cue from my home in San Carlos, I heard it and then I saw it, a low-flying chopper. Tim Ryan, KCBS.
We're going to have Dave Ross in less than a minute.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Come or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Made with whole grain oats, Nature Valley Crunchy granola bars are just as tasty on the terrace as they are on the trail, as delicious on the deck as they are on the dock. So enjoy a Nature Valley Crunchy bar wherever you are.
Let the parents choose. This is Dave Ross on the CBS News Radio Network, presented by Capital One Bank. A significant number of Americans have decided that mandatory mask wearing is tyranny. They refuse to be afraid. They accept that getting ill once in a while is a fact of life. The trouble is that this debate is screwing up plans to reopen the schools, because no governor wants hospitals filling up with sick children. And so in some states, they'll just close the schools for everybody. And since both sides are dug in, it's time to give people the choice to segregate themselves. Not racial segregation, but rather